What is going on, guys? Xtimus here. So this is going to be a summoning sorceress that uses energy, shield, and enchant. So she's going to also be doing melee damage as well, and she's going to be enchanting all of the revives and enchanting the mercenary as well. I use summoning skills with Eternity, and I'm using Revive. Now you're probably going to say, it's going to cost a lot of gold to use revives. However, Eternity has 88 charges. And if you ever want to repair the charges for no gold, you just need a chipped gem and an Ort rune, and you can fully repair and recharge the weapon. I'm using Eternity and an Archon staff is not only because I could get Fire Mastery and Enchant, it's because Archon staff has very good physical damage, and it also has almost no requirements, only 24 strength. Not only is she going to be an energy shield sorceress, she's also going to be able to get a lot of life leech doing the physical damage. Even though the enchant damage won't give her life leech, the physical damage that she gets from the Archon staff will. And she'll also be able to get mana leech as well from something like a rare ring like this, and that will also help her regain her mana with her energy shield. Now I have tested some things where I was using Eternity with, a mace and trying to choose a shield like Gurks or something like that for more survivability, and I did do a lot of testing on this. So far with the build, I think the Archon staff is better. And the reason, like I said before, is because it just requires almost nothing. So I only need to put maybe like a few points into strength, and my build is basically good to go. But going over some of the items here as well, I mean, there were some other ideas, like I said, Eternity with a shield, using Phoenix or Gurks, or even Medusa's Gaze. Medusa's Gaze requires so much strength though. However, it was a pretty cool choice. I did test it, because it does give a lower resist, and it also gives life leech. And not only that, it gives 20% slow target, and when you combine this with Eternity, you're getting about, I think, the cap on slow's target. That would really help with the survivability, as long as I let the revives kind of do the tanking and I just play smart, right? But here's another interesting thing where these game mechanics get pretty complex, because I did want to use Phoenix, because Phoenix has very high negative enemy fire resistance, and this is going to help with the enchant. The issue here is it has Redemption Aura, and when Redemption Aura gets casted, this is going to get rid of the dead monsters and I won't be able to revive. Here's the thing though, if I had Eternity and Phoenix on, and then I wanted to somehow turn Phoenix off, I could just take it off and then revive. Or another thing is on Switch, I could put another Eternity and it won't cancel out the revives. Because for example, if you revive with Eternity and then you take it off, or you switch weapons, the revives are going to die. The strange thing is if you have another Eternity on Switch, like say this Call to Arms was Eternity and I switch weapons, the revives will still be there, which I found to be really interesting. I thought maybe there was something I could put on Switch. I just really need the Call to Arms for the extra life and mana. Really wanted to use Phoenix. It's just unfortunate that the Redemption Aura, takes away the ability for you to cast Revive, because it is really good and it adds a ton of physical damage, which increases my survivability. Because like I said, the more physical damage that you're doing, the more you're going to life leech and mana leech. I would really like to get some feedback from you guys on this, because this is a very complex build. There's so many different things that I could do, like use Mara's or even Crescent Moon, mass mana leech, bunch of mana, life leech, magic damage reduced. Magic damage reduced is actually really good and it's not talked about enough. So Crescent Moon is a good option. However, really what I'm doing is I'm hitting the second fastest breakpoint for attack speed with the setup I have right now, and that's with 105 increased attack speed. I know that this is something that you're probably not going to find. 3 to Fire Mastery, 3 to Enchant, so it probably would be quite difficult to find this. I did do a lot of testing though, and I really think the Archon staff was overall the best, and you'll see she survives pretty well you know, she can't just sit there and tank. You know, it's a very unique, complex build. So I don't expect everything to be perfect. I do think it's pretty good. So then I'm using Treachery. We're really lacking resistances. However, you're going to be able to cast the Fade pretty easily because she doesn't have block and the increased attack speed really helps us hit that breakpoint because we're trying to melee with a two-handed staff, and I'm really relying on Mana Leech and Life Leech here. Yeah, I think Treachery is really good. Flickering Flame, Highlords, Amulet. This also helps us get the 105 increased attack speed Sigon set. This is really interesting here because it has 30% increased attack speed and we have 10% life leech. So those are two things that are really going to help out here. I just thought Sigons were really good and pretty interesting to use. And then the ring and everything like that, you could use Volcathos. Carrion wind's kind of cool. I was really just trying to get a ton of life leech and see what it was like. And I'm also lacking poison res a lot if I don't have it on. This Storm Eye rare ring here. And I really need this for the Mana Leech, because I don't think I'm getting Mana Leech anywhere else. The rare ring is really important, and I also need the resistances, and I also need cast rate because I'm lacking that as well, because I'm also going to be casting Static Field a lot, and you guys will see that later on in the video. The Viper Fang, unique belt, all around good mana after each kill, strength, slows target, attack speed. This is also something that I need because I'm perfectly on the breakpoint that I was talking about earlier. So, and I think we went over everything. And then on Switch, I just have Call to Arms and Lidless Wall. The reason why it's Lidless Wall is because it would cost so much more strength to use a Monarch. My strength is 77, so might as well just use Lidless Wall. Annie, Torch, Fire Sunder, and then a bunch of Fire Charms. And then for my Mercenary, I'm just using Infinity, Fortitude, and Vampire Gaze. And Infinity is going to help with the enchant fire damage, so that is really important as well. And then going over the skills here, cold skills none, you know, 1 point into teleport, 20 in the energy shield, 20 telekinesis, and then I put some points in the static field. We're going to be using static field a lot, so the higher it is the better, because I'm going to be getting close to a monster pack, meleeing them, and then using static field to help my revives take them down. And then I maxed out warmth, enchant, and fire mastery. And then for the attributes, I only put like 3 points into strength. I think dex none. And I did put some points into vitality, and then the majority of my points into energy. And I know there is that other bow, I forget what it's called, that has revive charges on it, and it has a level 20 revive. I did test that some. I mean, that build can work too. It's just, there's not a lot of charges on it. I think if anyone were to play this, Eternity charges would be more, you know, practical. I mean, I don't even think that these are builds that I really think a lot of people will play. They're just things that I find really fun to do and interesting, and something that I think you guys might like. One thing about energy shield sorceresses is they usually suffer from poison damage, because even though you have energy shield up, you're going to be taking health damage because of the poison damage. However, with this build, since we are energy shield and we're getting life leech, it's not so much a problem. Alright, well, that's the end of the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed this summoning sorceress. Make sure you guys give me some comments. I would really like some feedback. I love to hear comments from you guys, improve on the build, and possibly make an ultimate edition of this build as well. So I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a good day. Take care.